Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Unstoppable Podcast Show, and I am Jennifer Hardy. Thank you so much for listening in today. Today, I am joined with the beautiful Jacqui Meyer. How are you doing, Jacqui?
Hey, Jen. Thank you so much for having me. I am very well. How are you?
I'm really good, and you are coming to us all the way from beautiful South Africa today, aren't you?
That is correct. It is usually a very sunny South Africa, but not too much today. But we can at least hope we get some rain with that, though.
Yes, absolutely. We are obviously here in Scotland and it is pretty miserable. We had the worst storms ever the last few days, so it's been pretty miserable. And looking forward to getting back to the sun at some point in the next few months. Okay, so Jacqui, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
So Jen, for 17 odd years, I was part of the corporate rat race. Ended up with adrenal fatigue, which was, I felt, the universe giving me the kick in the butt to actually follow my passion. And that, of course, is Kundalini Yoga. So for the last year or so, I have actually been teaching Kundalini Yoga and trying to make it more accessible to everybody, just because there's a lot of misconception around the Kundalini Yoga and it tends to scare a lot of people off. Yeah. So just, trying to make it more easily accessible, just to unpack it a little bit so that everyone can understand it. Just not make it so intimidating.
So tell us, just for people that are out there listening, because some people might be like, what even is that? So if you can explain a little bit, like, what is Kundalini Yoga? What is it?
So there are obviously different types of yoga, and the ones that pretty much everyone knows is the Hatha Yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga, the Yin Yoga. And Kundalini Yoga is also just one of the different forms of yoga. But what happened is it was actually originally meant for royalty. And so not too many people knew about the Kundalini Yoga. And then I think it was in the 60s, some of the yogi gurus, the masters, decided that actually it was enough now. It should no longer be kept a secret, and in actual fact, it should be accessible to more people. And so in the 60s, Yogi Bhajan actually went out to America and he started teaching Kundalini Yoga there. So it is relatively new from the point of fact that a lot of the Western world don't know about Kundalini Yoga, but it goes back also all the way through and stems from the very origins of yoga. It's just that it was kept a secret for so long because it was meant for royalty only.
Wow, so interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's a royalty yoga, which is, we should all be doing this. Like everyone.
Oh, totally.
My goodness. So explain a little bit about what the actual practice is then. Is it a series of movements? Is it sound-based? What is the kind of context of it?
Okay, so your normal Kundalini yoga class will start off with a warm-up, first with a tuning in, which is obviously just you taking that moment to be absolutely present in the class so that your brain isn't somewhere else when your body is in the class, and just connecting to your infinite being, your creator, to the universe, whichever higher power you believe in. You will then do a series of warm-ups similar to any other yoga class. And then the Kundalini Yoga, the actual physical movement is actually, there's quite specific sets, and they're done in a very scientific way. So you'll go to a class and go through a series of sets, and it won't be the flowing yoga like you do get with some yogas. Instead, it'll be one posture repeated for a few minutes, and then you'll move on to the next posture, which again you will repeat for a few minutes. And it's all been very scientifically put together, and it's all scientifically based. And if you unpack it, it is actually super interesting how it all works. But the idea for Kundalini is more about the meditation. So the physical side is just really preparing your body for the meditation. I'm sure you've probably experienced it. I'm sure lots of people have experienced it, that you sit down with the best intention to do a meditation and you find that you're very fidgety.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so that's what the physical side of the Kundalini does, is that it prepares the body for that meditation.
Wonderful.
You'll then have your Shavasana, or your relaxation, which tends to be everybody's favorite part of yoga. And that's cool. And that'll be anything from 5 minutes to 20 minutes, obviously just depending on how intense the class is. And then you go into your meditations. And meditations in Kundalini, again, are quite specific and are like super powerful. And that's why a lot of people don't actually enjoy the Kundalini, because they are quite powerful meditations.
Yeah.
But these can last anything from 3 minutes to 2 hours, all just depending where you are, how hardcore you're feeling. And then, yeah, you'll have a tune out and carry on with your day.
Wonderful. And from your experience of Kundalini Yoga, how has it shaped you, Jacqui?
Wow. So I started practicing yoga about 15 years ago, then found Kundalini Yoga and became a teacher just over 10 years ago now. So I want to say that, like, every meditation is a journey. It has given me tools that have helped me throughout life. It has, I think, helped me to probably be a much better person, a much more conscious person, and to think before you react, because often we get into stressful situations and we just sort of go into the reptilian part of our brain where we just react on instinct.
Absolutely.
And the Kundalini definitely gives you that capacity to take a step back out of that situation and, yeah, be aware that the other person is you in a situation and actually see things from the other point of view. So you're much less reactive and much more present. And that is an amazing gift. So, yeah. And I mean, it helps through stressful situations. If you have any blocks that you're battling with, it's a surefire way to find them. You can get very uncomfortable in there, but you can release those blocks and shift blocks so quickly and effectively. It's actually, yeah, it's phenomenal.
Amazing. Fantastic. I obviously adore meditation. I adore yoga. And I actually had the fortune to be able to work with you for one of your sessions, one of your Kundalini sessions, and it was fantastic. It was really, really brilliant. And since then, I've been dabbling and doing a little bit here and there. So I want to get into it even more. I can see the power in it. I really can. So talk to me a little bit about the beginning of your journey then, and where was the shift, the change? What actually made you take up yoga in the very first place?
Okay, so this is a funny story. I used to be quite the regular gym bunny, and I was very devout about going to certain classes. And Zumba, I'm sure you guys know Zumba.
We do, absolutely. I love a Zumba.
Yeah. So Zumba was one of my favorites, except that I have no coordination and I don't know my left from my right unless I consciously think about it. So 9 times out of 10 in the Zumba class, everyone else was going left and I was going right. Or they were all going forward and I was going backwards. And it was a disaster. I think they put me at the back of the class so I couldn't hurt myself or anybody else. And one day after Zumba, there was yoga. And I kind of thought, well, I've got the time to spare, so let me go see what this is about. This doesn't look like it requires too much coordination. And at the time, I was also doing a lot of off-road mountain biking, which I thought I was reasonably fit. Not like any great shakes. I wasn't going to be winning any medals or anything, but I was reasonably fit. I enjoyed it. And so I started going to the yoga classes, as I say, more out of trying not to hurt myself and other people in the class. But I completely became hooked. And I mean, that was just an hour class in a gym. So it was no great shakes. There was no meditation. It was just all the movement. But I found that my mountain biking became so much stronger because of the breath work that we were doing, the stretching that you're doing. And so suddenly my mountain biking, like, upped a whole level, and it was absolutely phenomenal. But because I was going to the gym, the class was really a beginner's class, and it just stayed a beginner's class. So eventually I went to my teacher at the gym and I said to her, look, I'd really like to go and find out more. I want to do more. And she was like, nothing on her. She was just like, go do your teacher training. Like, I wasn't sure that was what I was actually asking for, but she was like, no, go do your teacher training. Here you go. Here is a phone number. Sort it out. Phone it. Go do it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, I also then had no idea really about the different types of yoga. So I just got sent off by my gym teacher / yoga teacher to my first Kundalini Yoga teacher training module, because I did it in 4 modules. Yeah. And I walked away after 4 days of intense Kundalini Yoga thinking, oh my word, those people are a bunch of fruitcakes. I am never going back.
Oh, wow.
But I went back.
You went back.
I did. Really? Yeah, I went back. I did my second module and I left again thinking, nope, they are definitely fruitcakes, not going back.
Oh my goodness.
I did my third module and then I was sort of like, actually, hang on. Maybe they're not such fruitcakes. Maybe there's something in this. The fourth module I also did, which was cool. And what actually happened is that to actually complete the whole thing, you actually need to do a certain number of hours of teaching.
Yeah.
And even though that wasn't actually my intention, because my intention was just to do it for me and to be able to further my practice, I'm also one of those people who, once you've started something, you got to finish it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I sucked it up and I went out and I did my hours of teaching. And it was so incredibly rewarding. It was such a gift. It really was. I was amazed at the difference that you can make in people's life, the difference it made in my life. It was absolutely amazing. So have basically just not stopped teaching since.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that story. It's so brilliant. So cool. So also tell me a little bit about when people come to work with you. Is it normally that they've already had experience in yoga? Do they have to have experience in yoga? Or can they come to you and just learn all about Kundalini as well? Like what are your clients normally, what stage are they at when they come to you?
So I've actually got like quite a wide variety. So a few who had never done yoga before in their life, but were interested, like keen to find out more, right up to those who they've got a very good practice at home and they're very confident in it, but they just wanted like that next level, that extra shift, which they just found they were going through the motions more than anything else. So there really is a range. And some people who've never experienced Kundalini Yoga either, which has been absolutely amazing that people can trust you with this, which is great. Yeah. And so what I do is I've got an 11-week program which has not just the yoga and meditation, but also a lot about yogic living and yogic lifestyle. So what does it mean to live a yogic life? What are the different choices that you make? And also then just being able to incorporate some of that into your family life. Because for me, I found it was so much more sustainable to be able to make small incremental changes in my whole family rather than me being the hardcore yogi and them all carrying on. So slowly but surely, my whole family has evolved to living more of a yogic lifestyle. Yeah, they don't really participate in yoga and meditation, but they're still eating well. We're practicing gratitude, all those little things that make you more conscious, more aware, just a general better person.
I absolutely adore it. I adore it. Every time I speak to you, I get so inspired, Jacqui.
Oh, thank you.
It's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about how we can come into your space. Where can we find you if we are looking to begin our journeys when it comes to Kundalini?
So obviously the best thing is obviously just to contact me. My website is currently under construction, so that is a work in progress. Hopefully lots of work to be done this weekend on that, but watch the space. And that will just be JacquiMeyer.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, I am Yoga Coach Jacqui, and in LinkedIn.
Amazing.
So lots of portals to find me.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit, one last thing, Jacqui. What would your advice be for someone that is thinking, I really want to give something like this a go, but I don't have any experience, or it's maybe my first time, and what would you say to them? Like, why do they need to do this? Why do they need to get into this beautiful art of meditation and yoga?
So I have a very firm belief that there is a yoga for everybody and a yoga teacher for everybody.
I love that.
So even if it's not Kundalini Yoga, and even if it's not me, somewhere out there is a yoga for everybody and a teacher for everybody. And it obviously just takes a little bit of practice to find the person who resonates with you. And obviously the yoga practice that resonates with you. And of course, the only way to find out is to jump in and experience it. There are so many YouTube clips available that is always an option, just to go in and dabble in one of those and play a bit, just to find where you're comfortable. Similarly, there are various meditation apps, and there is so many resources available out there. And I think it's just best for a person to play a bit and to find what works for them. Yeah. And obviously, depending on where you're at in your life, will depend on how serious you want to be. Anyone who is super serious about changing their life and making the shift, not just practicing the yoga and meditation, but also making like real changes in their life, there you obviously need to find a coach. You need to find someone who's going to mentor you, who's going to take you through, hold your hand. And for me, that is a huge part, because I've had to learn a lot of this stuff myself, the rocky, hard road. And that is exactly why my passion is to break it down into bite-sized pieces, to hold people's hand and make it all less intimidating, and be able to make the change for your whole family, not just for you yourself personally. Although, of course, that is also totally an option as well.
Fantastic. I love it. Listen, it has been amazing speaking to you today, Jacqui, as per usual. Do you have any, as well, like quick tips when it comes to, what's the word? Affirmations. What is one of your big affirmations that you love that you can share with the audience today that maybe gets them kind of motivated and ready for the start of their day, or ready to do their gratitude journals at the end of their evening, wherever they are in the world?
So my favorite and my all-time go-to is always keep up and you will be kept up.
I love that. I have never ever heard
that
before.
And for me, it is a beautiful one, and I use it all the time. So like at the moment, I do a lot of trail running as well. And often, like, you're out in the middle of the sticks somewhere and you're feeling absolutely knackered. And I just like repeat to myself over and over again, keep up and you will be kept up. Keep up and you will be kept up. Keep up and you will be kept up. And it is amazing how powerful it is. And it works in basically any situation, really.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely adore it. Fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a firm favorite. And it's also actually interesting because I have a very good friend who's also a Kundalini Yoga teacher. And it's so funny because often you'll hear her muttering under her breath, keep up and you will be kept up. Keep up and you will be kept up.
Oh, I love it.
It's obviously a Kundalini Yogi thing.
It absolutely works. Oh, Jacqui, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So lovely to chat to you.
And I really, like, anyone that's out there listening, like, please, if you even have the slightest inkling of wanting to get involved in yoga in any kind of way, you must speak to Jacqui. Like she said, she's got a website, all the social media channels, and I know that she also has like group programs and one-to-one coaching and things, and it is just life-changing. So make sure that you get in touch as soon as possible. Of course, all the links as well to Jacqui's channels are down below, if you want to find out more about her and what she's all about. And of course, for me, you can just scroll a little bit further and there's information about Unstoppable and what we do here. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Jacqui, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Jane. Love you.
Love you lots, hun. And I will speak to you all real soon. Take care.